Hey everyone, this is Jun,
And I'm Daniel,
and we are Korean.
American. Every time.
Hey Daniel,
Hey, June.
there's some sad news going
Yeah.
on right now. Pretty recently,
Yeah, I was devastated.
yeah, Matthew Perry died.
Mm.
Yeah,
Chandler Bing.
Chandler Bing from Friends. It was very sad, but it's also interesting to see how the Korean audience reacted.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
curious to hear.
I think it's very extraordinary that Korean public in general has like a pretty significant reaction to a character in a American TV series, which means that Friends was very popular in Korea.
Yeah, I knew
Yeah.
it was super popular.
Mm-hmm.
Super popular in the States as well, by the way.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
around the world actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like, I guess, a bit of my childhood was, taken away.
Yeah. And everyone I think was rooting for like a reunion, which never
Oh,
happened.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
never gonna happen
Now. Yeah.
which is pretty sad. But anyways,
Yeah, Chandler was my favorite character, and Friends was a big part of my, I guess, childhood as well, and high school and college life.
Chandler was your favorite character
I think I mentioned that on a
in
previous episode.
Friends, but you never asked me back.
I didn't.
Mm.
June, who's your favorite Friends character?
I think Phoebe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she's so random.
Yeah,
She's hilarious.
I liked her character a lot. Anyways, yeah, the
I'll be there for you.
the very
Rain starts to fall.
iconic song.
Yeah, so
Was it
good.
was? Do you know if the song was made for the intro of Friends to begin with, or did they just?
That I don't know. Yeah, I know it was by the Rembrandts. I think,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Dude.
was it? This is the first time I'm hearing about the artist.
I don't know if they have any other songs, but yeah, this obviously,
One
very
hit
famous.
wonder.
Sometimes you only need one, June.
Anyways, yeah. What other TV series did you watch growing up?
Yeah, so I guess my earliest recollections of watching TV
Mm-hmm.
was, I'd say, late 80s.
Late 80s.
I would wake up early on Saturday, and
Yeah.
I don't actually know if it was early, but it felt early to me.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother and sister would be watching something, and I joined them.
Mm.
And the one show I always remember watching pretty vividly was Transformers.
Transformers.
Oh, amazing.
It was. Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I think Transformers were only popular after they made it into a movie in Korea.
Wow. No, there
Yeah.
was an animated Transformer series, which was awesome. More than meets the eye.
Interesting.
And then it was also combined with a G.I. Joe, I think.
G.I. Joe.
And the tagline there was, knowing is half the battle. Man, I haven't thought of these in 3 decades, but
Knowing the enemy.
just like knowing is half the battle.
Mm.
Yeah. That was their tagline. The other one was X-Men.
Oh wow.
Oh man, I still remember the whole theme intro.
Mm-hmm.
That was so good. And then, June, the funniest part is I remember it being like awesome animation. Recently, I started watching this again with my kids because they were asking me, "Oh, what did you watch as a kid?" Right?
Oh, that's so sweet.
This animation, it's not good. I mean, it was great at the time, but compared to now, it looks
Yeah.
so bad and choppy.
Mm.
And also, they say like kind of dirtiest jokes, and I'm just like, oh wow, it's kind of really adult oriented themes. But I was watching this as like a 5-year-old, right?
I
So
see.
it all went over my head. But that was kind of my first recollection of watching TV with my older siblings. And then the other TV from my childhood. Should I just keep going?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
I think I remember coming home. Basically, I'll break it down. There was the TV shows that I watched when I came home.
Mm-hmm.
So June, basically, both my parents, a little bit of backstory, both my parents worked full time. They didn't get home until 5 or so.
Okay.
But I would get off the bus, 3 p.m. I think. And so my grandma picked me up. And at some point I have to talk a lot about my grandma. But yeah, so I basically, she might cook me a snack, usually either instant ramen or
Ooh.
something from a can like Chef Boyardee.
Wow.
Yeah. And then
that's a luxury.
oh, is it?
For how old were you?
I don't know, 6 to 9, just think maybe.
Aren't those things that kids crave a lot, but then the parents never give it to you?
Maybe nowadays, but back then I think, you ate what you could.
Oh,
We
wow.
didn't really care for nutrition, I'd
Yeah,
say.
I don't think my mom would ever have cooked
Let
me
you eat
instant
ramen.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was either ramen or, Sapporo Ichiban, or Chef Boyardee from a can. Yeah.
Sapporo Ichiban?
Yeah. That was the ramen I ate growing up.
Oh, For a second, I thought that was beer.
Sapporo.
Kirin
Sapporo.
Ichiban. That's what I got. Yeah.
But yeah, I turn on. There was always PBS.
Mm-hmm.
So we did not have cable TV growing up. But I would watch, Sesame Street. I think taught me numbers and reading and things
Yeah.
like that. And Mr. Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who Mr. Rogers is?
Yes.
He's. Yeah.
I'm in a very weird position today for this episode because I oddly know these TV.
Yeah, you were
shows.
also 6 or 7 in the U.S. in the
That's
same
true.
time frame as me.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mr. Rogers, I didn't know much until I went to school in Pittsburgh, and he's like, Mr. Pittsburgh, right? So that city adores him. But honestly, at this point, the whole country and really the whole world adores him. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so good. Yeah, so that was a Sesame Street one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You know, the one thing that really sticks to my mind
Yeah.
from Mr. Rogers was how neat he was in hanging his coat. every day.
Yeah. I still remember it very slowly and methodically. He
yeah.
was never rushed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. Anyway, so that was the two I think I'd watch immediately upon coming home.
I see.
There was also this collection of cartoons that aired also. I don't exactly remember the order, but DuckTales.
Oh, this one
Woohoo!
I've never heard of. Wow. What can
Tales.
you-
So it's like Donald Duck and his 3 nephews, Huey,
Oh.
Dewey, Louie.
I know that.
Yeah, I just remember he would jump into this giant vault, of gold coins. That's
Mr.
what
Scrooge.
I remember.
This
Yeah.
is so interesting because I am gonna mention this cartoon in a bit and how Korean kids consume this.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I don't remember anything other than just DuckTales, kind of the intro. Woohoo! I feel like somewhere in my mind is the whole intro theme song, but I actually can't say it right now. There was also Tailspin, which was about some lovable big animal like a bear flying.
Oh, this one I
Tailspin.
totally don't know.
Darkwing Duck.
No.
And-
Why are all these like cartoons about ducks?
Yeah, that's interesting. DuckTales, Darkwing Duck. And then the last one, which I just remember loving, Gargoyles. Yeah,
I don't know.
So this lineup was a classic for me. I remember watching a lot of this too.
Yeah.
And then the other two, I can't honestly remember when I watched them,
Mm-hmm.
but I watched a lot of them as well. Captain America
Captain America.
and Animaniacs.
I don't know Animaniacs.
The Animaniacs was awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of rhymes from that I remember.
Is that a Looney Tunes series?
I think it is.
Oh, I know Looney Tunes.
Maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Captain America too, like Earth, Wind,
Yeah.
Fire. What
There's-
is it? Water.
You know, a lot of
Heart.
times.
with a really bad Native American accent.
Yeah, a lot of times when American TV shows are imported to Korea,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is maybe this is an Asian thing, but they always have to have a theme song,
Oh yeah.
and they made up a theme song for it that I'm pretty sure it's
Not the original.
not the original.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Are these usually dubbed as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would change it completely.
Yeah.
Because you associate so much with the voice actors, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting. But yeah, that was kind of my, the cartoons I'd watch upon coming home.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other collection would be after dinner. So I think I still remember.
You're so structured today. Did you
Isn't
prep for something?
No, we don't prep. But yeah, 7 p.m. would be Wheel of Fortune. 7:30 would be Jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
And so my dad would usually, watch these with us. And then at 8 was, I think, I do remember Friends would air on Thursday nights, I believe.
But Friends didn't air until
8 p.m., I think.
No, like the mid-90s.
Or mid-90s, yeah.
Wait, Daniel, because I know that we were briefly in the States in pretty similar times,
Yeah.
right? During the early 90s.
Yeah.
What I remember about watching TV in the States vividly, one thing is, so whenever I got to be up late at night, the thing that I would see, I think this was like probably the last show of certain channels,
Yeah.
was Mr. Ed,
Mr. Ed.
the talking horse.
No.
It was in black and white.
Doesn't ring a bell.
I think that aired at like, in my mind right now, I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
It was like midnight, past midnight
Oh.
or something. And when I watched Mr. Ed, it means that
Time to sleep.
I'm staying very late
Very late,
overnight.
yeah.
Oh, you don't.
Interesting.
I'm so surprised you don't know Mr. Ed.
I had a pretty strict childhood.
Yeah.
You'll see, like, I think TV was off by 9 at the latest.
Yeah.
I remember maybe even fighting, like, I have to watch this thing. It's like at 9.
Yeah.
And, maybe my dad would like grumpily let me do it here and there.
I see.
But yeah, so on Thursdays, it was Friends. Seinfeld was the other one. That was like the iconic, I guess, show growing up for me. And then on Friday nights, there was an awesome lineup because, school week's over. You can actually watch TV at my house. That, T.G.I.F. Thank God it's Friday.
Yeah.
And this was a series of shows that I remember, like, I don't know the exact order, but I think it was Family Matters at first. And I wish I had referenced this in a previous episode about Nerd Beauty, Nerdme. Because Steven Urkel and Stefan Urkel, it's like the perfect example of like Nerd Beauty.
I see.
Or like how, nerds can transform and like how they're seen differently.
Are these Nickelodeon
that was Family Matters.
shows?
Nickelodeon. I don't remember. Yeah, I'm not very aware of that back then. Like I couldn't tell you if this was CBS or ABC or whatever.
It's so interesting because 1992 is when I left for Korea.
Yeah.
And as you tap into the shows of the early 90s that's past 1992, I'm starting to
not recognize them.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
So Family Matters, then Boy Meets World, which was awesome. Mr. Feeney, Topanga. Yeah, these were awesome. Step by Step. And then I think it was Full House. Maybe Hanging with Mr. Cooper was on sometimes. But yeah, that was, I think, the extent of my TV watching. And I'm sure this was similar, but it's worth saying, especially for all the Gen MZ and younger kids today, everything was treated like live TV is today, which is you have that one time you can watch it. Yeah. And if you miss it, you're screwed. Yeah. You'll never see it again.
Did you not have a video recorder?
We did have a VHS recorder.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't have much blank film to record over.
I always got into trouble.
Recording over things that your parents didn't want you to. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a lot of my childhood home videos were lost because I taped over
them. Yeah.
For some stupid, I don't even know.
You have to like press record and play at the same time, right, to get it going.
Exactly.
But yeah, sometimes we would record, but yeah, in general, it's just like you always got the TV guide. You looked up what you wanted to watch and when. You'd circle it, and you always had to be there on time, right? Whereas nowadays, like kids don't know. Yeah, they can watch whatever they want whenever.
Yeah,
and but back then it was treated like sacred, like this. We have to watch this episode at this time. Yeah, so everything felt like a live event.
I think that's a common theme of everything back then versus now.
Yeah,
like everything is so accessible.
Yeah,
that everything becomes less valuable.
Yeah, it's not as special. Yeah, there's no scarcity.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Yep. So these were the TV shows that defined my childhood. A couple moments I want to call out. Like I still remember very distinctly. I remember Michael Jordan. This was 98, especially. 98's the one I remember very vividly. Oh, I was 14 at that time. But yeah, I mean, just like him hitting that, Game 6 winner over Byron Russell, like will forever be etched in my memory. I don't remember the year, but I remember the Friends finale too. Yeah, I just remember like watching it and just like crying. And I think at the time, so if I remember right, growing up, this was before me, but like there was a TV show called MASH. And the only reason I know it is because I think it also was about the Korean War from the American perspective.
Really?
But also it was because when Friends came around, or it might have been Seinfeld first, they kept saying, oh, it's the most watched or anticipated finale since the MASH finale.
Really?
Yeah. And so let's say MASH was like maybe late 70s, early 80s, something like that. I'm just going to guess. Really don't know. But then when I think the Seinfeld finale came, it was like, oh, the most anticipated and, watched finale since MASH. And then I believe it was a few years after, and Friends finale as well. And then that became like the most watched finale and most anticipated finale of all time. But yeah, I'd say after that, really streaming started to happen, become a thing. DVDs started to become a thing. And so I think that era where TV felt like live events came to an end.
Yeah.
And I think from then it never felt as special, right? Like that finale episode. You could always watch it later or whatever. So that's how I think about television as an American growing up in the, late 80s, early 90s.
Did you watch the Friends finale live?
I did. It was 2 parts if I remember.
Yeah. It was? I don't
know.
What did you think about it?
At the time?
Yeah.
Again, I was I really wanted Ross to end up with Rachel.
Yeah.
I'm kind of romantic that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I didn't even get into that. So we're just keeping it to childhood, right? Because there's a
Yeah.
whole nother series of shows that were like my early teen shows.
Okay.
Dawson's Creek, have to give a shout out. But yeah, I mean, I really wanted Ross to end up with Rachel, and
Which they did, right?
which they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember crying. Yeah.
But I thought the final like couple seasons were kind of a drag.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
that. Yeah. 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 They were already super popular. They already got their money.
Yeah.
I think at the time, if I remember, each cast member was famously making $1 million an episode.
An episode.
Yeah, which at the time was just like mind blowing money, right? Yeah.
Crazy.
So,
Anyways.
but yeah, let's turn it over to you.
Okay.
What was your childhood like from a cartoon TV perspective in Korea?
Yeah, I intentionally don't want to include my early 90s
Okay.
because I was in the States.
Okay.
Let's start from the mid to late 80s.
Okay.
Everyone, I assure everyone, every boy in Korea who grew up, who had their childhoods in their 80s, early 90s, knows this song. And I'm very curious to see if you recognize this.
No
This
way.
was so popular.
There's not a chance.
I'm going to play you a song.
Ooh, I didn't expect this, June. This is awesome.
Wait for it, wait for it.
I hate to
Don't.
No, I hate to disappoint you, June. This
You don't
does
know?
nothing for me.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm just gonna let it play for a good another 10 seconds.
But when you hear this, you're taken back to the 80s.
Exactly.
Your childhood.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how powerful like music can be? Man.
Okay, so this is a Japanese TV show
Okay.
called Hureshimen. I don't know what the Japanese title is, but I think it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
There was a genre in Japan called I researched this. In Korea, it's called Super Jeondae series.
Okay.
In English, it's Super Sentai. Says it's a Japanese superhero team master series and media franchise consisting of television series and films produced by Toei Company and Bandai and aired by TVSI.
Bandai I recognize as like a toy
Yeah.
manufacturer.
So the Super Sentai series are these series of, so they're all different shows, but they're all pretty similar.
Yeah.
They're usually like 5 superheroes that are dressed up in different colors usually.
Yeah.
And
I can't believe I didn't mention the US one.
I know, I'm gonna
Yeah,
mention it soon.
I can't believe
So
I
it
didn't
was
mention
so popular. This one, so Hureshimen is one of the series of the Super Sentai
Okay.
superhero series. It was insanely popular, and of course, because it's Japanese, it didn't air in national TV. So the way you watch this is, do you know video rental shops?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Blockbusters, yeah.
But like the Korean version,
Like, it's
I've
like
seen
more of
some
a
of them
corner
in-
store, right?
Yeah, you know something so funny. When I visited Koreatown in LA,
Yeah.
and this was like in 2013,
Yeah.
there was
They're
still
still
video
there.
rental shops.
If you go to Korean grocery stores in Korea,
Yeah.
you can still rent like K-drama and movie DVDs from
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Anyways, it's probably every Korean boy growing up in that era have watched Hureshimen.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there are a couple other ones that were pretty popular. One's called Maskman,
Uh-huh.
and Bioman,
No.
Bioman.
No.
But they're
no.
pretty much the same.
Yeah.
It's always like these group of superheroes that they fight for some evil power.
Yeah.
And they can always transform into these suits.
Yeah.
And then it's all okay, I can't believe this was fun for every child, but it's so weird because every episode is the same.
Yeah. It was there was a formula.
Yeah.
Right. Very structured and
Yeah.
formulaic.
And then
yeah.
they fight against this monster,
every time.
and then they start losing, and that's when they call like their robots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't want to ruin it for you.
Yeah.
The US one was Power Rangers.
I know I was gonna get into it.
So popular.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was a little late for me.
Yeah.
I think I might have been a little old for it when it became popular. Yeah.
So that was the American rendition of
Oh.
the Super Sentai. That's like one of the biggest parts of the 80s for me.
Yeah.
I don't recall a lot of other TV shows. Let's go into our early 90s.
Okay.
Can you imagine there were only 4 channels available in the 90s?
Yes, I can, June.
Yeah.
I'm
which
a same 80s baby.
and but it's so weird because the four
Yeah.
were KBS was Korean public national TV.
Yeah.
KBS 1, 2. They had two channels.
Oh, okay, okay.
2 I think was more for entertainment.
Mhm.
1 was more serious.
Yeah, maybe one was for adults, one was for kids. No?
Not exactly like dramas would air in 2,
Okay.
but like news would be on 1
Got
or
it.
something like that.
Yeah.
And then there was EBS, which is like the PBS of Korea.
Yes,
The
educational.
education.
Mhm.
And then the last one's so weird. It's AFKN, which is
American foreign something?
it's for the American military base.
Wow. So
But
that was
it
one of
was-
the 4 national
Yeah,
broadcast
but it was
channels.
broadcasted for the national public in Korea.
That's so interesting.
That's so
Yeah.
interesting, right? So we had only 4 channels, and one of them was for the American military.
Wow.
Yeah, and there was SBS, which is Seoul, but it didn't air in outside of Seoul. So
In the Shigor.
yeah,
in
in the
Daegu.
me growing up in Daegu, we only had 4 channels.
Mm.
And then so through AFKN, I would watch Sesame Street.
Oh.
But AFKN was really good
Yeah.
because they collected all the good shows
The
in
best
America.
ones,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they had Sesame Street, and then they had a bunch of like soap operas.
Wait, yeah. That
Like,
was also a big part of my
Do
childhood.
you know like General Hospital?
Yes, and
Guiding Light?
yes, and
I don't know the last one.
Days of Our Lives.
Days Are like I don't think that aired,
Oh.
or at least as far as I remember.
Yo, my grandma was hooked on Days of Our Lives.
Do you know that General Hospital or something is still going on right now?
I'm sure all of these are actually, but June, my grandma, I really want to talk about her at some point.
Yeah.
But my image of her is just sitting in front of the TV,
Mm-hmm.
like peeling bomb,
Pam?
watching Days of Our Lives, and like talking to herself, like, oh, hi, no more like, just like, oh, this person, and she's like, oh, no, they did not do that, right?
Oh.
It's just. That's my
Wow.
classic picture of her.
Yeah.
And these were on the days I didn't go to school because this aired like at 1 p.m., right? Normally I'd be at school.
I see.
But yeah, as a kid, I remember maybe during the summers
Mm-hmm.
seeing my grandma watching Days of Our Lives, being so into it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they also had Soul Train,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then the Oprah Winfrey Show.
Yeah.
So all the good ones in one channel, which is
That's
crazy.
amazing.
And
Yeah.
the Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, everything.
June, I feel like Oprah was maybe cable TV. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. And I told you I didn't have cable TV ever growing up. So you might have even gotten more cooler channels and
Yeah.
shows
So
than I did.
AFK, they didn't care. Like they collected
And it
all
was
the
free.
good ones. It was
Man,
free.
That's awesome.
I don't know when it ended,
Yeah.
but for a good chunk of time, it's crazy to think about it
It
now.
really is.
Yeah, out of the
Yeah.
4 channels.
Yeah.
Anyways, other than that, growing up as a kid, I think there was a Sunday ritual for all the kids, which is in Sunday morning they had the 디즈니 만화 동산.
Mm-hmm. Mama Dongsan? What's
manhwa,
that?
it's like cartoon.
Oh, manhwa. Yeah.
동산 is like a hill. I don't know why they call it that.
Okay.
Cartoon hill. 디즈니 만화 동산.
But basically the Disney cartoon lineup, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Sunday morning, I bet every household, if they had a TV, the kids would gather in front of TV to watch 디즈니 만화 동산.
Uh-huh.
And that's where we watched DuckTales.
Ah, yeah.
And some other series. They were shown consequently.
Yeah.
That, and then there were a bunch of so basically cartoons were either Japanese, American, or a little bit of Korean.
Mm.
I want to mention some very popular Korean native cartoons, which is Dulli. Do you know Dulli?
Mm-mm.
Like the little dinosaur, like the green dinosaur.
Nope.
Oh no, it's very sad. You know, like Korean, like the early '90s Korean cartoons had always a very sad, melancholic thing to it. It's so weird.
Korea as a country, it's a very sad country,
Yeah.
I think.
And then 달려라 하니 is
No.
about this girl athlete who runs.
There's
and then-
only one I'm waiting for you to say that I might know.
Really? I don't know if you know the last one. 나라라 슈퍼보드.
Mm-mm.
You don't know.
Jun, what about Doraemon?
Which one?
Doraemon? The
Ah,
blue...
도라에몽? That's Japanese though. It is a very popular, I mean, probably everyone knows what Doraemon is,
Yeah.
but I don't remember it being on TV or anything. Anyways, oh, you know Doraemon.
I would also say my introduction to Japanese anime,
Mm-hmm.
which I consumed voraciously in college,
Mm-hmm.
was Sailor Moon. Sailor
Sailor
Moon
Moon.
broadcast in the US. Yeah.
Oh, you like Sailor Moon.
I would just watch it. I
Oh,
think it
wow.
was on. Yeah. Again, Chin, we didn't have much choice over what we watched back then. You watched what was on the TV.
I think Sailor Moon was on TV when I was growing up.
Yeah.
I never got it.
Yeah.
I wasn't interested in it.
Tuxedo Max. I think I had an older sister.
Mhm.
I think she might have been into it too.
Oh, that's probably
Yeah.
your influence.
Mhm.
Yeah. Pokemon was very popular too, but I think I was a
Mm.
bit grown up
Yeah,
for
it was
that.
later.
Yeah.
I remember there was a Game Boy emulator.
Yes.
I would play on my computer in college.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, the Pokemon games were very popular then.
Mm.
But this was more like early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Did you watch Beverly Hills
90210. No, so
You were too little for that, right?
yeah, I'm either too little, but at that point in my life, June, I think I was living like a Korean student. I was just studying all the
Oh,
time
okay.
after school, so I had no time to watch.
Mm.
Which makes me curious.
Yeah.
Didn't you also have like after school, like 8th period or whatever?
During the 90s?
Yeah, yeah. Weren't you in high school?
During the 90s?
Yeah.
No, I was in elementary.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. The difference is Korean elementary school goes through 6th grade.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it's K through 5, then 6 through 8,
Oh,
and then
wow.
9 through 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was still enjoying my life during the late 90s.
Whereas I was already in study
Yeah.
mode. Yeah.
I think during the late 90s, sitcoms became a thing in Korea.
Yeah.
And we can't talk about sitcoms without mentioning 순풍 산부인과.
Hmm.
Have you heard of this?
No.
So it's about a family that runs the OBGYN. The
Yeah.
OBGYN part doesn't really play a big
Okay,
part of it.
okay.
It's just portraying this family.
Yeah.
And there were like these child characters where their acting was amazing
Mm.
and they became so popular.
Yeah.
순풍 산부인과 I think definitely wasn't like a cultural icon
Okay.
of the 90s. And then because now in the late 90s I was a little bit more grown up, I started listening to like music, right? Pop music,
Yeah.
Korean pop music,
Yeah.
which like it's not K-pop. Like K-pop I think now is defined as a separate genre.
Okay.
Let's say like Korean pop music, which is not K-pop.
We got to do better than that. You're you're saying Korean versus K-pop?
It's like first gen
K-pop.
K-pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, like H.O.T. and
That's
all that.
K-pop.
That's K-pop.
Totally.
Okay.
I remember there was HOT.
Mm-hmm.
There was two people in Turbo.
Yeah, Turbo was pre H.O.T. kind of.
Oh, it was. I thought they were like concurrent.
They did, but
Oh,
yeah,
Okay. And then the only girl group I remember was like Finkel.
and SCS.
SCS.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So-
these are all K-pop, 100%.
They are
Yeah.
okay. So I started I started listening to K-pop,
Yeah.
and then you know how the TV shows, the music TV shows, are very. It's like the pinnacle of the K-pop
Oh,
culture.
totally. Yeah.
So remember how I described that there are only 4 channels.
Yeah.
If you include SBS, the Seoul broadcasting system, it's 5.
Yeah.
So the 3 big broadcasting channels, KBS, MBC, and SBS, they all had their own music thing.
Yeah.
And I think they still do now. The most popular one was the KBS one. It's called Gayo Top 10.
Okay.
Gayo means popular music in old fashioned. Gayo Top 10 is like the top 10.
Yeah.
So they had the ranking. They all have the ranking system.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Show Music Tank, I think it was MBC.
Wow,
and then-
you remember. Yeah.
Yeah, Inkigayo is SBS.
So I think a big difference was at this point, a lot of the show, like the one I'm thinking of course, in America was MTV. And they had shows like, TRL and where they do the countdowns and things like that.
Mhm.
But these were all on cable television, I believe. And I didn't have access to that growing up. So this is where I kind of, I guess, fell away from the mainstream culture because it was all on cable.
So did you have a similar format in America where it's like a live show and then
I honestly couldn't tell you.
singers would come up to the stage and perform and they would actually have weekly rankings?
That I think for sure. They did the weekly rankings of the top 10 counting backwards and like trying to keep suspense, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you if they brought the performers on to either perform or interview them. I assume they did. Yeah. And then there's a whole nother world of like the Disney like stars. I missed out on all of them because you were referencing Nickelodeon. That was a cable TV channel. So yeah,
Who's
that's when I kind of
the-
fell out of the zeitgeist.
Yeah, but I heard that you mentioned HOT Turbo and all
Yeah.
that. Did you listen to Korean pop music back then?
Yeah, my brother was a little bit into it and some
Yeah.
of my friends were.
Mm-hmm.
But again, in our household and me personally, I really was not at all into that Korean culture.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if you were Korean, maybe living in LA,
Mm-hmm.
you would have been really, exposed and deep into it.
I see.
But for me, I was aware of it. I knew all their songs.
Yeah.
I probably had seen one or two of the music videos for the
Mm.
dances,
Mm.
but that's it. Yeah.
Mm.
I, I will say it was really funny. I had non-Korean friends
Mm-hmm.
who could say every lyric of these songs, right?
Yeah.
Like they had memorized. They can't even speak Korean, but
Oh,
they had
wow.
memorized the lyrics in Korean.
Yeah.
So even today, I'm pretty sure if they go to noraebangs, they can just like
Oh, wow.
blast like old school HOT and whatever. But I could never do it.
They
Yeah.
might be like the ancestors of the K-pop craze. Like,
BTS Army, yeah,
back in the days.
back in the day, 20 years early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
But this
Yeah.
was a revelation in Korea, right? Like the HOT days and the fandom.
Mm.
It was just next level, right?
Yeah, I think the very first generation of the idol culture started from 서태지
Sateji.
아이들.
Yeah, yeah.
So they started off the whole, I believe the idol culture, and then I think HOT was
Took it to the next level.
like the cultural phenomena,
Yeah.
and then what like Jack's Kiss, which was kind of like their
That rings a bell.
counterpart
Yeah.
rival. They were targeting directly to compete with HOT.
So you were either Team HOT or Teams Sex Keys.
Jack's Kiss, yeah.
Jack's Keys. Oh.
Yeah. Back in the days, even now, group names are so weird.
Yeah.
Jack's Kiss, I know for a fact that it means like 6 crystals
Yeah.
in German. Like so
So
randomly.
random.
Yeah.
Well, didn't Korea have a long-standing relationship with Germany?
I don't
Like,
think
we
it has
sent our-
anything to do with that though.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, these are things I learned, June. This is not relevant to the
Yeah.
topic.
Hmm.
But I remember learning about, like, we sent a bunch of nurses, right, to Germany?
Yeah.
Right?
For female nurses and for
Yeah.
male minors.
Yeah. To mine? They're
Yeah, to mine.
in Germany, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they
So,
called
like,
minors?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just sent a bunch of workers from Korea to Germany
Yeah.
to learn skills, make money, and bring it back, right? So,
Exactly.
yeah. I mean, that's something that any everyday Korean would know.
Hmm.
But for a Korean American, we know nothing of this.
Yeah.
So I was kind of mind blown when I heard that.
Oh.
Anyway.
Interesting to see how Jack's Kiss could lead into the
This
minors and
conversation.
nurses to Germany.
It's not crazy, though.
It's not crazy.
Why else would they choose German? That makes no sense.
I think it's just random and they just want to sound sophisticated and they just care about how it phonetically sounds in Korean.
Like Häagen-Dazs.
Hagendazu.
No, is it a German word?
I think so.
Yeah, it literally means nothing. So an American
Oh,
company,
it doesn't mean anything?
it's not even a real German word, I believe.
Oh, wow.
They just made something up, made it German to seem exotic, maybe.
Oh, interesting.
I'm also very ignorant, but it might be Dutch? I don't know. Anyway,
Mm.
but Häagen-Dazs, yeah, it's similar,
Mm.
where it's like exotic, it sounds cool.
But that's
means
actually, that's a US brand, right?
Yeah, it's a US brand that took a German name.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Oh, so funny.
Yeah, that was late 90s for me.
Mm.
I spent a lot of time watching these K-pop shows. Yeah.
June, can you do the dance? For sure you tried to do the dance.
Like which one?
Candy. I mean, boy bands in the US were huge too.
Yeah.
Again, I had lost a little bit because I couldn't watch MTV.
Mhm.
But yeah, Backstreet Boys and NSYNC.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were huge. And, maybe even bringing it back full circle, I think Backstreet Boys are doing some sort of reunion now.
Mhm.
Yeah. And,
Wow.
it's thinking about Matthew Perry and friends. It just makes me sad. It's such a shame,
Mm.
especially because he also opened with his kind of mental health issues and
Yeah, yeah.
addictions, and really seemed to have turned a corner. But yeah,
Now that you mentioned Backstreet Boys, I think New Kids on the Block
oh
was
yeah.
how I think, as far as I know, HOT they sort of benchmark New Kids on the Block.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they seem to have a similar style too, and yeah,
It's so interesting to see how they started from benchmarking a US boy band and now it they evolved into BTS,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is now
Clearly.
conquering the boy band scene.
in the world. Yeah,
Very interesting.
it is interesting.
Mm. So early 2000s now.
Okay,
The things that sticks out for me in terms of TV in the early 2000s are these very popular Korean dramas.
Yeah.
Of course, I think there were very popular dramas before, but these are like pretty next level in my
Okay.
opinion. The first one's called Hojun.
Doesn't ring a bell.
It's sort of a historical character. He's actually a real person, a very famous doctor in Korea in, I think, the Joseon dynasty. I would be very embarrassed if I got this wrong. But it's depicting his life.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was very exact, but it was so popular. I researched this. At one point, at its peak, 64% the watch rate.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So I remember in the news, they're broadcasting how the streets are empty
Yeah.
when Hojun was on.
This can never happen again, right? Because at the time, there were
Yeah.
only limited amount of channels.
Yeah.
There was no fragmentation of the market. Yeah.
Exactly. Now I heard that if national TV gets to like 10,
That's incredible. I
that's
think.
incredible.
Yeah, even 5%, I think, is
Yeah.
good for dramas.
yeah, so 64%.
Crazy.
And then I think you might know the next one. It's called 대장금.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very famous historical.
Yeah.
Like 100 episodes.
Yeah, the female cook, right?
Yeah.
Who cooks for the palace.
Yeah.
This went up to 57%.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But I don't think I remember watching 대장금 at the time that it aired.
Yeah.
But I watched it on YouTube.
I believe I've seen it. Yeah. I don't know if I've seen every episode,
Yeah.
but I've watched a lot of it.
Yeah. Young-ae, which was the leading actress, she became super
Very famous.
She was already very famous to begin with, but yeah. So these two are the things that define the early 2000s TV for me.
Yeah, early 2000s for me. I was in college. So, I mean, I was watching stuff like, I watched a lot of Smallville.
Is there something that was like so popular on a national level, other than Friends in the US? Maybe that's not a sitcom.
Yeah, I'm not sure. What I would say is this was the earliest parts of, right, like streaming media, DVDs, etc. So it wasn't just, I believe it was not as like, oh, everyone's watching this on national TV. I'm sure there were. But, also, like I said before, cable TV was huge even in the, I think, late 90s. And so it's already starting to be super fragmented. But I was just like not, like I wish my wife were here. She'd know much better. I was just not that into, I think, pop culture.
I see.
Yeah.
I think it's a good segue to get into American TV shows that were oddly popular in Korea.
I'd love to. I know Friends.
Friends was a big thing.
Yeah.
And it's very weird in a way because it never aired officially in Korea. So I think everyone was like illegally downloading off like torrents or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 3 comes to mind. Number 1, of course, is Friends.
Yeah.
The second one is Lost.
Lost
was very popular.
because of Daniel Day Kim, right?
Initially, I think it was because of Kim Yoon-jin. And she was already a very famous actress in Korea.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. She was like a crossover star.
Yes.
Oh.
And then I think she was Korean American.
Yeah.
But then she made it big in Korea.
Yeah.
And then she all of a sudden made an appearance in Lost.
Yeah.
Which is I think it's a common thing nowadays. Like Korean actors or actresses playing a role in American TV or movie. But back then it was very,
it's like one of the first crossover stars. Yeah.
And her role wasn't a small role.
No, she was huge.
I remember, so I think Lost was very popular when I was in college.
Yeah, same.
I remember during a summer break, so I was living in the dorms. Me and my dorm mate, we did like a Lost marathon. And we didn't go out of the room for some days.
Yeah.
Just watching nonstop Lost.
Yeah.
And so it was also very special because there was a Korean character, which is not a common thing, right?
Yeah.
And it created a lot of memes in Korea.
Oh, really?
Because the way that
even back then, meme culture.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like early 2000 meme culture in the US was not that strong.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Because Daniel Day Kim's character in Lost is supposed to be a Korean.
Oh, yeah. Here it comes.
But his Korean was not that good.
Even I knew his Korean was bad.
Yeah. And so there's a meme called 꽈찌쭈.
What's that mean?
So there's a scene in Lost where I think this is a scene where it depicts Daniel Day Kim's character. I think
Uh-huh.
his name was Kwon Jin-soo
In the show.
in the show.
Okay.
So it was a scene where it depicts his dream. And so him and two other friends, they're like golfing on the island.
Yeah.
And then like he misses a putt or something,
Yeah.
and then he starts like ranting random Korean. And it's so weird. And at one point he like so I think what he was trying to say was 왜 권진수는 행복할 수 없어? Like why can't 권진수 be happy?
Oh, Kwon Jin-soo is his name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he's like
He's talking about himself in the
yeah,
third
like
yeah.
in into the air or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
But like he says like 꽈찌쭈는 행복할 수 없어.
So that became a meme.
Yeah, and so his nickname forever up until now is 꽈찌쭈.
In Korea.
Yeah. And then there's another scene that became a meme. So there was a scene where I think it's Daniel Day Kim. His character, I think he's somewhere and he's washing his hands in the bathroom. And then this like white man, he starts like speaking in Korean to him
Mm-hmm.
because he was like a member of something whatever.
Yeah.
And like Daniel Day Kim's like, oh, how do you speak Korean and stuff like that. And his opening line is, so it's in Korean. He says like, oh, here's where the paper towel is, right? And this white actor, he tries to speak in Korean that way.
Yeah.
It's like, paper towel이 여기 있네. So funny.
Oh man. Yeah.
So yeah, it created a lot of memes.
June, just the fact that like you can remember this and know so much about Lost,
Mhm.
it shows me how popular it was here.
It was very popular,
huge.
yeah.
I can tell.
Um,
But no, the time has come. I have to go on a little rant about Daniel Day Kim.
okay, let's go.
Obviously, we share the same, name.
Hmm.
First of all, I will say, really a big fan of him.
Yeah.
Not only as like a trailblazer, right,
Mhm.
for Asian, but also Korean Americans in media.
Yeah,
I remember he also testified in front of, I think, either Congress or Senate in the U.S.
really.
I believe it was about the Asian violence, anti-Asian violence, and things like that. I believe.
So he's
Double check
He's
that.
playing an important role.
Yeah, no, big
Yeah.
fan of what he's been doing for the
Yeah.
community and everything. But yeah, there was, when Crazy Rich Asians came out, there was a thing called Cold Open.
Gold Open.
Yeah, so basically it was a movement to try to buy out theaters
Mm.
for the premiere and for showings for this movie,
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure it had box office success. Kind of showed the overall like purchasing power of the Asian American community.
Yeah.
And I donated a lot of money to help this thing go, to grow.
Yeah.
And I was, super proud to do it and happy to do it, right? Whatever. But I think my name, showed up as Daniel Kim on the list of donors.
Oh, I see.
And I'm pretty sure 100% of people assumed it was Daniel Day Kim.
Oh.
To this day, no.
It didn't even come to mind that you had the same last names too.
Oh yeah, of
Oh,
course,
Daniel
Daniel Kim.
Kim.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. That's another side thing. But if I ever crack like the top 50 of like Daniel Kims in the US, I'll be pretty happy. There's also a famous YouTuber. He stopped doing things, but he used to do pop danthology. I think that Daniel Kim is pretty famous too.
Wow.
And of course, like random whatever. But yeah,
You should become Daniel Sung Kim.
Sung Kim.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just go by Sung Won now.
Yeah.
Drop the Daniel. Go full
Yeah.
Korean. What's the third very popular?
The third one I haven't watched, but it
Oh.
was, I think, if I had to choose what was the most popular, I think it was this one, and it's Prison Break.
Prison Break.
Yeah.
That's not what I was expecting.
You haven't. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was popular in the US, but like that seems random.
Yeah, it became very successful
Prison
in Korea
Break.
to the point
Yeah.
where the main actor's name in the show I think was Schofield.
Mm-hmm.
And Korean people named him a Korean name, Sokopil,
Sokopi.
because it sounds like Schofield.
Yeah.
Sokopil. Yeah,
But does that mean something in Korean? Sokopil?
doesn't mean anything.
Oh,
It
that's just how they
just
pronounce
sounds
his name.
kind of like a Korean name, but it
Oh.
also resembles
Like
the pronunciation.
Sokopil.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah. So these are the three
Yeah.
I think American TV shows that were very popular.
When was Prison Break? Because I thought you were gonna say Breaking Bad. Yeah.
I think Breaking Bad.
Or Walking Dead, maybe with Steven Yeun.
Yeah, but not to the level of these three.
Wow, Prison Break.
Yeah.
Man, it was probably more successful in Korea than America.
Maybe.
Sorry, and these were all in your mind 2000s?
I think Prison Break was mid 2000s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at most popular US TV shows
Mm-hmm.
2000s. I'm just curious.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there's so many good ones. The Office.
Mm.
Yeah. 1994.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking Bad was 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and
Grey's
this
Anatomy.
one, Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
And then The Wire.
Oh, I don't know
Oh,
about
this was
one.
HBO only.
I see.
I remember binging this. God, it's bad. I think I watched like, I forgot how many hours of this, but I binged it all in like 3 nights. So good.
Wire.
The Wire.
What's
yeah.
it about?
It's about basically drugs and, kind of drug dealers and police and just the whole system in Baltimore. So that's kind of why I also really liked it. Because, I grew up in Maryland. And this took place in Maryland as well. But yeah, the Baltimore kind of, I guess, drug scene. Yeah.
Is Baltimore famous for being like a crime state?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
A crime city. Yeah.
Yeah.
Baltimore is known.
It's a city.
It's known to have the highest homicide rate in the U.S. for many years running. I don't know if that's still true, but yeah, it's known to be a very bad place, which is hilarious, or not hilarious, but might be surprising for a lot of Korean people. Do you associate Baltimore with anything?
Nothing.
Maybe so. Johns Hopkins University is in
I see.
Baltimore, and it's it's one of the greatest med schools and colleges. But it's like, one street is really nice and like amazing college town. Literally the next street, like you should never even be there.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. The only reputation that I have of Baltimore is from Serial, the podcast.
Oh yeah,
So
no,
that's why I
again,
also associate it with crime.
that also has a Korean tie-in.
Yes.
Yeah, the victim in Serial was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
Korean lady. But I mean, I'm going down the list. Man, Modern Family was 2009. Parks and Rec. Oh man, okay. How I Met Your Mother. Yeah, that was 2005.
That was like the next Friends, right?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
very, very popular too. Oh, 24. Yeah, that was 2009.
Oh, so I heard that Prison Break was created by the cast of 24 in between seasons.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, 24 was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very, very fun. But yeah, I will say there's another whole genre which I want to talk with you briefly. It was Survivor and like live action TV. So Temptation Island
Yeah.
came out in 2001 apparently, and Survivor as well. So this for me, I really liked this genre of TV.
What do you call it? Like,
It's like live game show type things. But I feel like now it's incredibly popular, right? There's
Yeah.
like, what's the Korean one that's going on?
right now?
Yeah, on Netflix. Like something like the name is something like Temptation Island. Look it up
Oh,
right now.
Inferno.
Yeah,
something.
Singles Inferno.
Singles
Yeah.
Inferno. Yeah.
But yeah, Survivor. June, I was so into Survivor. I want to say my freshman year of college. So this would have been 2003. Me and a bunch of friends from high school who were, back in town for summer, we did like in-person Survivor. So there was like someone playing the role of the host, JM, if you're out there listening, and like 12 or 14 of us just like did weekly competitions, and it was so much fun. Like we replicated Survivor.
Oh, wow.
And I remember too, we recorded the whole thing. Somewhere out there, I hope there's footage of
The
this.
video camera?
I would love to see it because that would be just like taking me back to like 2003.
Wow. And you just did it for fun?
We just did it for fun. Yeah.
Who won?
I remember, I think I got third place maybe, but
Out
I
of-
did not win.
Out of how many contestants?
I think it was like 12 or 14.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Thank you, June.
But I don't even know what the premise of Survivor is.
Oh, yeah. Survivor was very popular. So the premise is 16 people, let's say 8 men, 8 women, are dropped into an island. And every day or so, there's some competition. And if you win, basically, depending on how you do in the competition, it gives you certain benefits. Like maybe you get extra food, or actually, I think you get immunity from being voted off. But the key part of the show is every episode or every week, one cast member gets voted off the island. And so you go from 16 to 15, 14, down to 1.
But what happens when they're 2? You just vote for...
That one,
the other
I
person.
don't exactly remember.
Interesting.
Maybe some heads-up competition. But, it becomes not only about the physical, right?
Mhm.
Can you survive on basically no food and whatever against nature? But it's a lot more political. So forming alliances and backstabbing and like who's doing what, right? And so I think the theme, the motto of the show was some combination of outplay, outwit, and outlast.
I think there was an era in American TV culture where competition shows were very popular.
Yeah.
Like, what's the one? I don't know if this counts as competition, but The Bachelor,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then American Idol
Yeah.
was
Oh,
huge.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think now The Bachelor and Bachelorette are still some of the most popular TV in
Oh,
America.
they're still
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, I was right. Survivor is outwit, outplay, outlast.
Okay.
And the reason I want to bring this up is there's a Korean American, Yul Kwan. Have you heard of him?
No.
Oh, yeah. So he won one of the early, I want to say season 2 of Survivor. But yeah, he also, worked at our previous place of employment.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he's just a really great guy. He's an activist for a lot of good causes as well. But I think it's funny. Anytime there's like a Korean tie-in, for me at least, it's always like I pay extra attention to it, I'd say.
I want to tap into Korean TV shows that were influenced by these competition shows in the States.
Yeah.
And I think there were certain, I don't want to call it copy, but influenced by American Idol shows in Korea, one of which is Superstar K, which was on cable,
Yeah.
and then K-pop Star, which was on national TV. The winners of some of the seasons are still very popular.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Do you know 악동 musician?
No.
Angmyu? Yeah,
I'm not going to know.
they're probably one of the most successful out of the series.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of like these variety shows, in the mid 2000s, Korean variety shows were, I think it was when it was most popular. I think I've mentioned these during our humor episode. 무한도전, Infinite Challenge, and the 1박 2일.
Yeah.
These were very popular. I didn't watch 무한도전 that much when it was actually on air.
Yeah.
But there was a huge fandom of 무한도전.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and that's how Yoo Jae-suk, who's one of the most famous MCs in Korea, he became who he is right now. Yeah.
June, talking to you makes me realize even more aware of how limited my Korean pop culture knowledge is.
You don't know Yoo
I
Jae-suk?
don't know any of these names.
Oh, he's everywhere in TV and
I bet if
ads.
I saw him, I'd recognize his face.
Yeah.
This is its own thing. But yeah, Korean names in particular, I'm just very bad at. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think this episode's getting quite long.
I think we did a good run chronologically,
Yeah.
talking about TV shows and tapping a little bit into pop culture.
I'm glad we kept it on track, though.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
could have gone down a meme road, right? Because there's a very funny meme going on right now.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Because you started with the memes around Daniel Day Kim.
Yeah, yeah.
We could have gone down that, but we didn't. And then, yeah, I think Korean movies and dramas, it's its own huge thing that we could get into that we didn't. But yeah.
Cool. It was fun.
All right. Well, thank you for listening.
Thank you for
I think we're
listening.
going to wrap it up for this week. Again, you can follow us at Instagram at Korean American Podcast. Support us on Patreon. And yeah, we hope to, more than anything, like, comment, subscribe, give us your feedback,
Yeah.
and let us know how we're doing.
Yeah, we're starting to do video.
Oh, yeah.
Did we mention this in our last episode?
We did.
Maybe we did. Yeah. We're trying out a new angle if you've noticed.
Be patient with us. We're walking the line around whether we want to reveal our faces. Oh, June, we also have to shout out our very first paid subscriber, Patreon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
YSU, and I'll just say it, Mina and Youngshik. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you so much.
You will forever be number one in our hearts and number one in our Patreon subscriber list.
Yes.
No one can ever take that away from you.
Thank you very much.
No, it means a lot. Thank you.
It means a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Hope to see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
No one told you life was gonna be this way. Is that even it?
You're ignoring the rhythm. I think that was the right lyrics.
Life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you're broke. Your love life's DOA. It's
I
like
think you have
you're
a good singing
always stuck
voice.
in second gear. No. When it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year, I'll be there for you when the rain starts to fall. Okay, that's enough. God.
Hey, you have a good singing
So
voice.
bad. No, so bad. But no, rest in peace, Matthew Perry.
Rest in
Uh,
peace.
we'll miss you. I really want to watch Friends now.
Is it on Netflix? Yeah, I think the very first generation of like the idol culture started from
Yeah,
서태지
Satechi.
아이들.
Yeah.
He was like
His name was literally, wasn't his group name Satechi Aid? No.
서태지와 아이들. It's like 서태지 and the kids.
Oh, and the kids,
Yeah.
not like idol.
Oh, not idol.
Idol.
아이들, the children.
Are those homonyms in Korean? Children and idol? Like, do you spell it the same way?
No, I like the BTS type is idol.
Idol versus
Yeah.
idol.
들,
Oh,
like
okay.
plural of I.
So embarrassing. I was like, wait, that's where the idol started. Satechi and idol. Yeah. No, we could be like Daft Punk, right? You never see their faces. Sia, right? They always hide their faces. It became like their signature.
Should we wear a mask?
I was thinking.